Hello, Skin Angels, and welcome to the Skin Angels podcast. I'm Peter Leo, dermatologist, investor, and one of the founders of Skin Angels. Before we begin, a quick disclosure. Many of the companies we discuss are early-stage ventures, and I may serve as an advisor, investor, or collaborator with some of them. From time to time, other members of Skin Angels may also have financial interests in these companies. This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It reflects our opinions and experiences as clinicians, scientists, and investors who care deeply about innovation in dermatology and skin health. Nothing discussed here should be considered medical advice, investment advice, or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Our goal is simple: to explore new ideas, highlight promising technologies, and help connect the dermatology community with the people building the future of skincare and skin science. Thanks for being part of Skin Angels. Let's get started. Today, I get to talk with Lauren Bell and Sandip Leihal, co-founders of Cosi Care. They are an innovative company focused on many different approaches to relieving itch. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourselves and introduce yourselves to our listeners. Lauren, could you get started?
Absolutely. So thank you, Peter, for having us on today. We're really excited to chat to you. So my name's Lauren. I'm one of the co-founders of Cosi Care. I'm here with Sandip, and together we've built this brand that really is designed to support people with chronic itch. So everything that we do is around how someone feels when they live with eczema and psoriasis, and everything that we try and innovate within and create is to support families, people really living through chronic itch and itchy skin. So the business kind of started from that need to support someone in your family. So both of us have experience of watching a loved one really suffer. Myself, my younger brother Reese had severe eczema since the age of 3, and Sandeep is an incredible father of 6. So 2 of his children have lived with chronic health as well. So we both really understood the need for supporting families in those moments when you're really struggling with your health. So that's where kind of Cosi Care started. And then we started to collaborate and really innovate to create itch relief devices. That's kind of where it all began, and creating this range that families could hold and use in those moments when they're really stressed to give them that extra support on their healing journey.
I really like that. Itch is such a huge problem for so many of our patients in dermatology. It is the thing that drives people crazy. It keeps them awake at night. And of course, when a patient is itchy, it's not just the patient suffering. It's usually, as you say, the entire family. How did you guys, well, Sandeep, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your journey towards this company as well. And then I'd love to hear about how you actually got into this particular approach to itch, because it's really innovative what you're doing. There's lots of anti-itch creams and approaches in the market, but this is something totally new.
Yeah, so I'm obviously a parent first, and seeing children struggle is probably the most frustrating and difficult moment as a parent. So once I met with Lauren, who obviously created this great concept and the idea at university, I completely understood where she was coming from and what journey she had gone through herself. So for me, jumping on and supporting Lauren in this journey of trying to create these products was for a great opportunity for myself, but also for my family, and was super excited to actually take it forward.
Yeah, like you really resonated with that kind of when you're in the house, when your child is struggling, all you really reach for and look for is solutions for relief. So, you know, that kind of sparked the innovation really, and understanding that, you know, watching my parents tell my brother to just stop scratching. That was a very famous phrase in our household, or to try and get him to stop doing something. The innovation came from, well, why can't we make this a positive experience, or like a positive deterrent? Instead of stop scratching, it's use your scratch star, use your Cosi Care device. And it's that kind of positive, kind of trying to change that behavior around itching and scratching. And I know that parents, and Sandy, if you can relate more than me, I was watching my parents and my brother battle this, but from a parent's perspective, all you want to try and do is help in the most effective way. And, you know, there's so much frustration and pain in the family unit that can come from a family member struggling. And it kind of sparked that innovation of, why isn't there a solution to this? Why can't we create this beautiful product range that's specifically specifically tailored towards the itch scratch cycle and mimicking scratching, but in a way that's really positive and calming and gives that instant relief in those moments of agony, really.
The devices are very beautiful and they're extremely well designed. I love looking at them. And I think I told you the origin story of how I learned about you. It was from a patient of mine who came in and brought one of the devices and said that she absolutely loves it and she uses it all the time. What was the inspiration for the devices? And can you talk a little bit about this approach? Because it's something that reminds me of, or I think is kind of rooted in the idea of habit reversal. The way you put it is beautiful. Instead of telling people stop scratching, we can really think about giving them something positive to do in its place. So replacement behavior is so powerful, but you've also designed some really beautiful tools to help patients do this, as opposed to just, you can do simple things. You can tap your fingers or play with a fidget, but these are a little bit more sophisticated. So tell us about the designs and the actual products a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, of course. So the actual, thank you for saying that, by the way. Whenever anyone compliments our brand, I think me and Sandip just light up because we know the work and time that's kind of gone into creating this brand and how it looks and how it feels. And essentially we wanted to create something that didn't look like a medical company, because when I was growing up and Sandip, when, he was supporting his children through chronic health, a lot of the support or the treatment is very white, it's very clinical, it's very pharmaceutical, and children don't necessarily resonate or relate to that. So I thought, why not design products that look maybe like toys or like something beautiful to have in your home, so you don't always feel like you're being medicated as a patient. It's something like, you feel proud to own and take to school and show your friends and use. And that's kind of the direction I went down. I've been very inspired by brands, like Apple, creating really beautiful, clean, minimal products, and all the products are like sea life creatures. So you've got the Scratch Star, which is like a little starfish. You've got the Scratch Tack Roller, which is a shark. So I think we wanted to create something that people love to use and look at. And equally just, something that we are proud to develop as a brand as well. So I think I always try and get Sandip in a mint green suit. It's kind of like mint green, and he's got the mint green shirt on today as well. So yeah, we're both very proud of the brand and how it looks, and it's all about how someone feels when they live with a skin condition and making it as painless and as nice of an experience as possible.
You have the signature color, which I really like. And yes, there is a very neat design aesthetic. And I remember the way the patient was holding, I think she had the Scratch Attack roller, and she was holding it and clutching it close to her chest, sort of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings with My Precious. She wouldn't let it go. She used it all the time. And it was just neat to see that, because there are so many things I see out there. Can we talk a little bit about the business part of this whole thing? How you guys did a lot of testing to get the company up and running? And were there some early challenges that sort of made this a little bit more daunting?
Yeah, I think when you look back, it's obviously a few years now, but when I look back over the 6 years that we've worked together, right at the beginning, we obviously had Lauren, who had created this great idea and concept at university. But when we actually sat together trying to sort of plan and plan for the future and think about those sort of visionary sort of moments about where we wanted to take the business, there was such a big gap between the two. So we had to take a really patient approach, because we did realize that actually creating one of these products would probably be copied very quickly, and you'd get these cheap equivalents on eBay very quickly. So we took a patient, disciplined approach, made sure that we reinvested all our resources, whether that was financial and even our own time, back into the business to ensure that innovation was at the forefront of the business. Lauren is incredibly gifted in terms of her creativity. So for me, I needed to protect her from that burden of running the business, but making sure that we kept focused on product development. And we gradually sort of scaled the business. So initially we were testing the products on friends and families and a small community that we had available to ourselves. Great feedback from them, telling us that the products were life-changing. And then we started to produce a few more products, and every profit, anything that was actually brought back into the businesses, went back to the development pot. And, you fast forward now 6 years, and we're at a point where, we just recently won the $1 million from 43 North in America, which has now opened up the door to the United States for us. And we're looking to scale internationally. So the momentum of the business through innovation, but keeping empathy and an understanding of what the customer needs was super important as we grew the business.
Amazing. Were there some challenges in the beginning that were a bit daunting at first?
Right. It's
Yeah.
all been a challenge, launching what we're trying to create is like a new category, isn't it, within dermatology. So there's so much education and research and development that comes with that. And just to echo what Sandip said there, we really took the approach of self-funding it, doing the right things, going down the right compliance route, getting the ISO certification and then growing that into FDA registration and all the investment into the materials. Like there's so much detail that goes into launching a product range like this. And, as Sandip said, it's every kind of chapter has been super challenging. But Sandip, I don't know if you want to delve into some of them, some of the specific ones.
I think one of the big ones is how do you create something which hasn't been created before? And I think that's probably one thing right at the beginning we really struggled with, because there's no blueprint, there's no sort of way or pathway that we can actually maybe use as an example. So I think we did struggle with that, but we actually took that as an opportunity, right? So that means the world's our oyster. We could create so many different products, different skincare ranges, and there were so many other ideas, but again, incredibly gifted to have a partner like Lauren who is creative and giving her the opportunity to be free to listen to the community, to create products which actually the consumers actually wanted, was super important right from the beginning. And I think what really in business what's so important is momentum, but success breeds success, right? And I feel like once we started getting some great feedback on one product, the second product naturally started to come forward. So I think that is something that we're so incredibly thankful for. The community, the feedback that we've had has been incredible along the way.
It really does seem like you have quite the following now, and many patients are excited about it and doing the hard work in part of getting the word out there. And I think that's so important. If you could go back to the very first day and you could bring with you all that you have learned now, are there any lessons or tips you would give your younger selves about this business endeavor?
I think we spoke about this last night, didn't we? And we kind of went over, because I feel there's so many things that we could probably say to younger Lauren and younger Sandip. But I think the main thing for us is that we have gone through a lot of hardships, quality issues, regulatory costs, financial issues, cash flow, and really trying to scale the business from the ground up. There are so many things that we've kind of battled through to get this business to where it is. But the reality is, if we hadn't gone through all of those problems and those trials, we probably wouldn't be in the position that we are in now. And if anything, we're thankful that we went through those pains at a smaller scale, because now we're in the US, which is a massive market for us. And we're really excited to scale. And as you said, you even had a patient come to you with a product like that for us. And we promise you we didn't plant them. It was completely genuine. And we were really grateful that, she was talking about our products. But, just to go through that, and we wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't had all those problems, quality, consistency, trying to build a team. Like there's so much that goes into a business. So we're just thankful for every kind of every disappointment, every challenge, because essentially that's what made us a bit more resilient and strong as a business today.
So you guys now have quite a few different products, and I know now the presence in the United States. Tell me a little bit about what is next for the company. What is the vision going forward? And then I'll sort of ask my final question, which is kind of stepping beyond even the company and looking more at the skincare market and dermatology as a whole, what you see as the future. But first, for Cosi Care, what is the vision in the short term? What are you working on? I know you have a couple of things that you guys have at least posted about online.
I'll kick off and then I'll pass it to Sandip on this as well, because there is so much going on at the minute, which is so exciting. But I think for us, being in the US, we're so keen to build partnerships in dermatology. We've had such success in the UK and through our own website, but because we have achieved the FDA registration and all the compliance hurdles that we've overcome now, we are looking to really try and break the US market and understand how do we get dermatologists supporting their patients with Cosi Care devices? How do we provide the right education? And how do we really break through to help as many families as we possibly can with these devices? So we're going through a bit of a transition at the moment from the UK to the US, new market, new medical healthcare system, and everything is so different. So building those relationships and those partnerships is incredibly important for us to really break through.
And for us, it's trying to open up more opportunities to get in front of consumers. So, at the moment we are direct to consumer, so we are looking at trying to create those relationships, like Lauren says. But there's different territories that we want to scale into, and so just trying to get out to the wider community and developing as many relationships as possible to try to get the products and skincare out to as many consumers as possible moving forward.
And as Sandip said, the skincare is something really new for us as well. So we've had these medical devices on the market, and what we're really excited to almost announce, I think, officially on this podcast is that we are moving towards adding skincare, and it's all centered around still how people feel when they are chronically itchy. So that even the skincare is cooling, soothing, you can use them with your devices. So what we're trying to build is this whole ecosystem of products that support people when they feel in pain and when they are itchy. So yeah, really excited to be building that alongside the devices as well. And I think Sandip said before early on as well, is we are very patient-led, so we get constant feedback from our community. We get constant DMs and messages with, have you thought about this product? Could you create a moisturizer? Could you create a gel? Like, there's all these things that the community want from us, and we're such a lean team, we can actually be quite reactive to that and create what people really want to see from us.
Pretty exciting. We have some breaking news here on the Skin Angels podcast. That does not always happen. So thank you. I wanted to ask you about one other little kind of detail about the devices. So I'm a huge proponent of not only the behavioral approaches, because I do view in some ways this is a replacement behavior, sort of a form of cognitive behavioral therapy in a way. And I love that it's a well-designed medical device for these patients. So I am a huge believer, and I love the idea of pairing it with a lot of other potential over-the-counter products, soothing sprays and moisturizers, and I am excited to see what you guys have in mind. One question I have for both clinicians, many of whom are listening and maybe are going to want to talk to their patients about it or recommend it, but even for the patients, is how do you recommend people pick one? Because you have a number of different devices, the Scratch Star, the Scratch Attack Roller, the Scalp Scratcher, the Bumpy Ball. There are a few different things. So if someone's feeling a little overwhelmed, is there a place to start? Is there one halo product that you feel is a favorite, or how do you counsel and coach people?
That's such a good question. And it's actually something that we do get quite a lot with, we've got this range, where do I start? And I think the way that we've designed the devices is each device is for a specific area of the body. So if you struggle with itchy eyes, face, neck, the Scratch Attack Roller is a great place to start because it rolls over those areas really seamlessly. If you do really love that fingernail-like sensation when you're scratching and you have it on, the larger areas of your body, our hero product or our halo product is the Scratch Star, because it has those bumps that feel like your fingernails, and you can use it on, your legs, your arms, your back. If you struggle like me, I've got eczema all over my fingers and hands. The puffer and the mini devices are great for that. So we really try to look at the body and where people can be itchy and design devices around those areas. So yeah, if you are struggling with chronic itch, I think the first question to ask is, where do I really struggle? And then you can choose a device based on that area of the body. But the Scratch Star and the Scratch Attack Roller is a great place to start because that covers pretty much everywhere as well.
I really like that. Thank you for that. That's helpful. And as we start to wrap up, I'd love to just get your vision. You guys have climbed a mountain, so to speak, and you are now seeing the world from a very different perspective. You've accomplished many great things. What do you think is interesting to you in the future for dermatology, skincare, this market? Are there other areas that now you feel have opened up or could be very interesting to explore?
I think one of the things that fascinates me most about itch is, and scratching, it's not just a habit, it's neurological, sensory, and very behavioral, as you mentioned as well. So I think what excites me about dermatology and the future of dermatology is there seems to be more focus on how someone feels at home, and in the interim between treatments, how is that patient feeling? How do they feel managing their condition outside of the clinic? So it's so nice to see so many companies and emerging brands actually focus on how someone feels in those moments when they just want to scratch, and all the innovation that's going into integrative dermatology and that support at home as well. I think that's really interesting to me, because when I was younger, when my brother was younger, when Sandip's family was really, really young, all the options seem to be very invasive, maybe treatments or, oral immunosuppressants or steroid creams, which is incredibly important, to support someone on their journey. But what I love to see is more innovation around how someone feels at home and that support when they just want to scratch their skin. So I hope more and more companies do this and really focus on how someone feels when they live with a skin condition.
And Sandip, any parting words for us?
Yeah, I think what's really helped us as a business is to keep our finger on the pulse and keep listening to our consumers and patients. And I think innovation has to remain at the forefront of this business. And if we do that, then we'll continue to evolve. And then over time, we can continue to create solutions to real problems.
Well, I want to thank you both so much, Lauren and Sandip. Cosi Care, amazing products, really exciting and innovative things on the market. I can attest to it. One of my own patients brought it in unsolicited, and I really want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Peter. It was amazing.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you at the next one.